So I have another pattern here. It states, I'm guessing it's what's the next. The question doesn't say anything here. It just says the pattern, but I'm assuming it says what is the what's the next number or something like that, or write a formula that depicts this pattern or sequence. So I have here's 1 is 1.25. I have 7, 7.50. And then I have 2, 2.25, and then I have 8, and then some value x, right? So take a moment to see if you can figure out the pattern here. So I have 1, 1.25, 7, 7.50, 2, 2.25. So look at this, find sums, find differences, and think about what would go next in the pattern. All right, so let's look at this here. So we have 1, 1.25. So let me take these two numbers. So 1, the difference between 1 and 1.25 is here is 0.25, right? That's fine. And then I have here 7 and 7.50. I'm looking at these two. This is a difference of 0.50. This here is a difference of 0.25. And this here is, which means therefore this difference here would be a difference of 0.50, right? It's the next logical pattern here, right? 0.25, 0.50, 0.25, 0.50. So these two are the patterns for these two. And let's look at, I'll do this in red. Let's look at the pattern of the whole numbers here. So I have 1, 7, 2, and 8, right? So 1, 7, 2, and 8, which means like if I look at the difference between this number and this number, it's simply +1, right? And then between this number and this number, this here is +1 as well. So so again, you can think of it as I'm skipping numbers here. I have 1 and then 7 and 2 and then 8, right? So you can say that the difference between these two numbers, 7 minus 1 here is 6, so it's a 6 is a difference here, 2 and 8 here is a difference of 6, right? Which means therefore my next kind of logical number here would be 8.50, right? X would be 8.50. And then the next pattern after that would be whatever 1, 7, 2, and 8. The next pattern would be 3 here, right? 3 would be my next number after 8.0, and then it would be 3.25, and so on and so forth. So what we can do is we can actually write an algebraic equation. Then let me see if they do that here. I don't think they do that here, but they just use logic like I did to solve for this one. It says here, second term is obtained by adding 0.25. That's good. Fourth term is 0.5, and then the sixth term is 0.25. That's good. So every even, the eventh term is I'm adding 0.25 from the previous term, and then what I can do is I am going to add basically 6 from the odd terms, right? So basically I can say something like nth term would be, if I'm going from n to n plus 1 here, I'm adding 0.25, right? So n at 0 would equal, or n at 1, sorry, would equal n at 0 plus 0.25, right? And this is for every odd number, for every odd number. So let me do, this would be n minus 1, actually, not n to the power of 0 here, because I'm doing a general formula. And this is for every odd number here. So every odd number, I'll say maybe this is, I'll denote this as x, where, so this would be n x minus 1, or this would be n x minus 1 plus 0.25. And then the next one would be 0.50, right? So where x here I can say is the, so 1, 3, and 5. This here's 1, 3, and 5. So it's every other odd term. So this here I have to state where x is every other odd term. And then for, I can write another statement that says n equals, and at y would equal ny minus 1 plus 0.50, because that's the difference between here and here, right? This here would equal the previous value, which is this one, plus 0.50. This is for every, in this case, it would be at the third term and at the seventh term, and so on and so forth. So this one would be also where y is every other odd term. And again, I'm writing an algebraic expression, but in reality, we actually don't have to do this. Again, I don't know what this question was asking here. I'm just kind of extending the problem to show you some type of algebraic expression here to kind of model this. But you can actually just simply use logic to figure this out. But then, again, the next term would be 8.50, and then it'd be 3, and then 3.25, and so on and so forth. So this here, I'll just say great solution and logic. There was not a question, just a pattern. So I assumed that this question wanted what the next value in the sequence would be. So the solution here is correct.